Gohan is the new protagonist of Dragon Ball Super, something that fans have always asked for since the Cell saga. But calm down, because I will explain this whole story and what will happen from now on with the work in the new generation, which, contrary to what many think, only tends to get better and better. So without further ado, let's go. During the Cell saga, we saw something that had never happened in Dragon Ball: Gohan taking Goku's place as the true protagonist. Until that moment, the series had always revolved around Goku's evolution and battles. However, Akira Toriyama dared to change the center of the narrative, establishing Gohan as his father's natural heir. Since childhood, Gohan already showed that he had an impressive hidden power, and this potential would be decisive to defeat Cell. When Goku sacrifices himself by teleporting the villain away, it is Gohan who is left with the responsibility of ending that fight, showing that the new generation could carry the Z Fighters' legacy. The awakening of Super Saiyan 2 was the moment when Gohan finally became the true protagonist. While everyone was hopeless in the face of Cell's regeneration and his cruelty, it was Gohan's fury upon seeing Android 16's death and his friend's suffering that made the scales tip. At that instant, he was not just Goku's son, but the most powerful warrior on Earth. It was a clear transition. The protagonist torch had been passed from father to son. After the victory against Cell, Gohan became the hero of the planet. The world believed that Hercules was responsible for the salvation, but in reality, all the Z Fighters knew that Gohan had been the fundamental piece. This period showed how he became the central character, carrying not only the power but also the responsibility. Goku was dead, and for the first time since the beginning of Dragon Ball, he was not the main focus of the plot. The focus shifted to how Gohan would grow up without his father by his side, facing the challenges that would come. In the following arc, during the so-called period of peace, Gohan began to be shown in his daily life. Unlike Goku, he had no thirst for battles, but rather the desire to study and live peacefully. Even so, he maintained the position of protagonist, as he was the link that connected the normal world to that of the warriors. His introduction as the Great Saiyaman was a way to show that he sought to reconcile his civil life with the role of a hero, something Goku had never done. This duality made Gohan even more human and closer to the audience. Even though many fans found this more relaxed side strange, he still carried the weight of being the protector of Earth. With Goku dead, Gohan was the greatest hope should a new threat arise, and that threat, of course, appeared in the form of Majin Buu. From then on, Gohan returned to the center of the narrative, being prepared to become the figure who could save everyone again. When Gohan trained with the Supreme Kai, we saw the return of his maximum importance in the story. Unlike Goku and Vegeta's traditional training, Gohan awakened his mystic power, the famous ultimate form, which was not a common transformation, but the release of all the potential that was dormant within him. This moment reinforced that Toriyama still saw Gohan as the path to victory against Buu, placing him again as the protagonist. At the peak of his mystic power, Gohan was the strongest among all the Z Fighters at that instant. His fight against Super Buu made it clear that he could in fact defeat him, had he not been surprised by the enemy's fusion and absorptions. This was the climax of Gohan's protagonism in the Buu saga, showing that the young man had inherited and surpassed his father's legacy. However, destiny changed once again. Overconfidence and carelessness ended up costing Gohan dearly. When he was absorbed by Buu, Earth's hope turned once again to Goku and Vegeta. This point marked the beginning of Goku's return as the work's main protagonist, something that many fans interpret as Toriyama giving up for good on the idea of leaving Gohan as the series' definitive heir. Even so, we cannot ignore that for a good part of the Buu saga, Gohan was still treated as the central character. The very fact that he was taken to the Kaioshin realm to awaken his power while Goku was dead demonstrates that Toriyama wanted to build the narrative around him. Only when the plans with Gohan failed did the protagonism return to Goku's hands. Another important point is that Gohan, unlike Goku, always carried a more human and emotional side. This brought him closer to the audience in a different way. His growth, his desire to protect his loved ones, and his constant struggle between following a normal path or being a warrior showed that he could have been the ideal protagonist for a new phase of the series. Goku's resurrection, however, broke this cycle. When Goku returned to life to face Buu, he definitively resumed the central place in the narrative. Even so, it is undeniable that Gohan had his moment to shine, being the protagonist of Dragon Ball for the entire period between the Cell saga and a large part of the Buu saga. This space was fundamental to show the versatility of the work and that yes, it could exist without Goku at the center. Many fans still consider this period as the phase in which Dragon Ball took the biggest risks, changing the traditional formula and giving protagonism to someone who represented the future. Gohan was the symbol of the new generation, and even if his role was reduced later, his historical importance is unquestionable. Finally, we can say that from Cell's defeat until the awakening of his mystic power against Buu, Gohan was the heart of the work. He showed that Dragon Ball was not just about brute force, but also about maturation, choices, and legacy. Even with Goku's return to the main role, Gohan will always be remembered as the one who, for a time, carried Dragon Ball on his back as the true protagonist. Unlike before, where Gohan came to carry the protagonism of Dragon Ball alone between the Cell saga and part of the Majin Buu saga, today the situation is completely different. With the revelation and consolidation of the beast form, he ceased to be an isolated protagonist to become one of the main protagonists alongside Goku and Vegeta. This creates a much more balanced dynamic as the story is not centered on just one character, but on three figures who represent different paths of power, personality, and fighting style. This change is very significant, as it precisely corrects what happened in the past. When Toriyama tried to put Gohan as the sole protagonist, part of the Japanese fans did not approve, as the essence of Dragon Ball has always been linked to Goku. The result was inevitable. Goku returned to the center of the narrative. Now, however, Gohan shares the spotlight organically, which pleases all sides. Fans who love Goku and Vegeta continue to see their favorite warriors shine, while those who always dreamed of seeing Gohan assume his potential finally have it realized. The beast form was precisely what gave Gohan this new relevance. He is no longer a supporting character who lives in the shadow of others, but a fighter who can rival the greatest. The impact of the transformation was so great that it made it clear. Toriyama recognized that Gohan had to be more than just Goku's studious son. He needed a definitive space on the front line. With this, Dragon Ball managed to resolve one of the biggest discussions among fans. Previously, there was a division. Some wanted Gohan as the total protagonist, others wanted Goku back. Now, both sides are satisfied, as Gohan shares the responsibility of the story with Goku and Vegeta, something much healthier for the franchise. This formula not only maintains the original essence, but also expands the narrative scope. It is worth noting that this division of protagonism does not diminish anyone. On the contrary, it strengthens everyone. Goku remains the main icon, Vegeta maintains his rivalry and constant growth, and Gohan emerges as the great surprise that can decide battles. This union of the three creates a sense of a protagonist triad, something that gives much more flexibility to future sagas. And it is precisely thinking about future sagas that the relevance of Gohan Beast grows even more. With the arrival of Black Frieza, the most powerful villain we have ever seen, it is evident that Goku and Vegeta will not be able to handle it alone. Frieza's return is not just another challenge, it is the chance for Dragon Ball to show the Saiyan trio in their maximum glory, each bringing their unique style of power to the battle. In this context, Gohan Beast becomes a fundamental piece. His hatred for Frieza, still rooted since childhood on planet Namek, resurfaces. Now he is no longer a scared child nor a reluctant young man. He is an adult warrior, a family man, and a protector of the future. This gives a much more intense emotional layer to his fight against Black Frieza, as it will not just be a battle of power, but also of ancient resentments. Fans already speculate that Gohan will have a central role in this clash. It is not just about helping Goku and Vegeta, but about assuming, at least in part of the saga, the role of battle protagonist. The beast form was created precisely for this, to put Gohan on equal footing with the most feared forces in the universe, and nothing symbolizes this confrontation more than facing Frieza, the enemy who so marked his childhood. Another important point is that Gohan now has something he never had before: balance. He is no longer just a student, nor just a warrior. He managed to reconcile his peaceful life with his role as a protector, which makes him a mature and complete protagonist. This maturity will be essential against Black Frieza, as this will not be a fight only of strength, but also of strategy and unity. It is likely that Gohan will become the turning point in the fight, just as he was against Cell. But this time, unlike the past, he will not be alone. He will have Goku and Vegeta by his side, sharing the protagonism and showing that Dragon Ball has grown along with its characters. This will be a huge differential, as it avoids repeating past mistakes and gives the series a renewed freshness. If we think about it, it's even symbolic. In the past, Gohan alone defeated Cell but lost space when fans' rejection forced Toriyama to bring Goku back. Now with the beast form, he does not need to carry that responsibility alone. He is part of something larger, a collective construction that further strengthens the franchise's legacy. Gohan Beast against Black Frieza can easily become one of the most memorable moments of the entire series. It will be the climax of a journey that began long ago with a crying boy who did not want to fight but who always had a monstrous power within him. Today, this boy is one of the 3 pillars of Dragon Ball, and his fury against Frieza may be what seals humanity's victory once again. Therefore, we can say that Gohan is finally in the place where he should have been all along, not as an isolated protagonist, nor as a forgotten supporting character, but as part of a protagonist triad alongside Goku and Vegeta. This is the formula that will guarantee the series' success in the future and that promises to transform the battle against Black Frieza into a true spectacle. And perhaps at the end of this saga, fans will realize that this balance is exactly what Dragon Ball needed to evolve. Because Goku alone carried the past, but Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan together will carry the future. In the fight against Black Frieza, Gohan Beast will probably be the one who brings the most unexpected turning point. Goku and Vegeta, even at their peaks with Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, have already demonstrated that they cannot handle the absurd level that Frieza has reached alone. It is precisely at this moment that Gohan will appear not as a substitute for them, but as the piece that completes the strategy. His beast transformation carries a factor of unpredictability that can take Frieza by surprise, as the villain still does not know the limits of this new power. Furthermore, Gohan's accumulated hatred against Frieza cannot be underestimated. He was marked by the trauma of Namek, by the deaths of friends like Krillin, and by the tyrant's constant threats. This emotional weight, combined with the beast form, can give Gohan an intensity in battle that neither Goku nor Vegeta possess. Frieza may be a combat genius, but Gohan's fury has always been a differential, capable of breaking barriers. Another point that can be explored is the unity of the 3 protagonists. It is not just about turns of fighting, but a coordinated combat. Goku bringing his calm and fluidity, Vegeta his aggressiveness and endurance, and Gohan his controlled fury with the beast form. This fusion of styles may be precisely what allows the trio to face Black Frieza equally. It would be the culmination of years of evolution, no longer the rivalry between them, but the true cooperation between the 3 greatest Saiyans. Finally, if Gohan is really placed as the central piece of this battle, it will be the definitive confirmation that he is not just a support, but a solid protagonist. He will have his revenge against Frieza, show that he has overcome the weaknesses of the past, and consolidate the beast form as one of the franchise's greatest trump cards. For fans, this will be a cathartic moment, Gohan's true redemption, now side by side with Goku and Vegeta, sustaining the future of Dragon Ball. But comment on what you thought of all this, and don't forget to like. Thank you very much for everyone's support, and until next time.